the communication module that millions or hundreds of millions of Americans use, and then they silence those people who say what doesn't need to be said according to their version of the reservation. If you're off the reservation, you're gone. Something is wrong.
I'm Dr. Duke, and this is Constitution Corner. Very happy to be joined today by Mitchell Shaw, a prolific contributor to the New American Magazine. Mitchell, thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, dude.
You and I have had a series of really cool conversations over at thenewamerican.com and jbs.org. If you'd like to go listen to them or see them, places where you can look at our discussion, our conversation about the danger to the country of big tech. But this segment, I want to talk specifically the constitutional dangers. In my estimation, Mitchell, I don't think we've seen a threat to the Constitution as broad as this, as potentially dangerous, since the time of FDR, when FDR unconstitutionally got a third term, where under the guise of war powers and quasi-military powers, the government was doing things and limiting information and controlling information in ways that really were unconstitutional. I wanted to get this sense from you. What are some of the clear and present dangers to the Constitution for what we're seeing with all of this rampant censorship now of conservatives, Republicans, even people who just happen to vote for Donald Trump?
Well, while I recognize that neither Twitter nor Facebook are actual arms of the federal government, they are, in essence, the technology arm of the federal government, in that, well, and more specifically the Democrat Party, in that they move everything to the side to make sure that their candidate gets all of the play and all of the attention. At the same time, it was a conversation I had with my wife today, because I'm writing an article right now about some things that somebody claimed about what Donald Trump may or may not have said during a phone call. And I said, a week ago, today would have been the day that he was tweeting all about that. But today he's not, because he doesn't have a Twitter account. They burned him to the ground. They removed the Twitter account of a standing president to silence his voice, just like they've been silencing all of our voices since 2016. And that is a very, very real constitutional danger, in that free speech is, after all, free speech. Now, again, Twitter is a private company. They can do whatever they want to do. But when they claim to be about free speech and they position themselves to be the communication module that millions or hundreds of millions of Americans use, and then they silence those people who say what doesn't need to be said according to their version of the reservation. If you're off the reservation, you're gone. Something is wrong.
Something is wrong, and the double standard, I think, is a constitutional threat. On the one hand, things that Donald Trump might have said or didn't say in trying to stop this supposed attack on the Capitol, that's enough to get you shut down. If you something like a simple phrase, according to Twitter and Facebook, that stop the steal. We've got thousands of affidavits from all sorts of poll watchers saying that funny business was up, that there was problems with the election, that votes were miscounted, that illegal votes were submitted, dead people had voted, all of that. So stop the steal is simply a way of saying, hey, let's fight to stop our elections being stolen. But now you've been purged. If you say that, even as a private citizen, you're gone. Meanwhile, you've got Democrat politicians from the vice president's office now, Kamala Harris's office, all the way down the Senate line, all the way down the House of Congress's line. Democrat politicians elected and about to take office are demanding that Twitter and Facebook engage in these kinds of shutdowns of speech, and they have done it. So again, we can say that literally these companies aren't the adjuncts of the Democratic Party. But why is it that Democratic congressmen and senators, perhaps even vice presidents, aren't censored for demanding the illegal censoring of private people's speech? You see the danger of that Constitution?
I do. Duke, you can tweet right now that the only good cop is a dead cop. Mm-hmm. I can tweet right now that we ought to drag Donald Trump out of the White House and hang him by his neck until he is dead. Those tweets will get promoted, not removed. But if I tweet that Joe Biden stole the election and something ought to be done about it, they will probably delete my account.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
It's way more than a double standard. It's it's fraud. It's outright fraud
It
in
is
the name of free speech.
It is a fraud against the Constitution. If there is one thing the U.S. Constitution, from its origin through all of its many manifestations before we finally settled on one version, to the way we have enforced it, the way we have interpreted it for 250 plus years, over and over and over again, the Constitution is a document that sought to bring greater equality under the law for all different people in this country. People of different races, people of different genders, people of different backgrounds, people of different immigration statuses. And so what gets me here is this is a fundamental undoing of the premise of the Constitution by saying some people's speech is more powerful than others, that we will promote certain violent speech at the expense of getting rid of quasi or even not violent speech. That, to me, is at the heart of the constitutional issue. Justice, equal justice under law for all who want to speak.
Yeah, all speech is equal, just liberal speech is more equal.
That's about a pretty good summation. This has been Constitution Corner. Thank you so much again, Mitchell, for your time today.
Thank you, Duke.